Hi hippies, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me for another bomb ass resin tutorial. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made these adorable $ little cash money earrings, because you know I'm all about manifesting that money. And I don't even just have the hanging earrings, I also have these adorable little studs. Y'all see that? Alright, so if you're interested on how I made these, which is a super cute and super easy resin project. I literally use less than 7 milligrams of resin. So if you're interested in learning how I did that, make sure you check the video out and stay tuned. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for me too, so you don't miss anything that I do put out for you hippies moving forward. Let's go. Alright hippies, so to start out, we're just going to go ahead and prep our mold. As you can see, I'm just going to lay it here on this flat surface. I mixed up about 20 milliliters of resin just because I'm working on multiple projects, but we're only going to be using 5 today. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add 5 milliliters of resin into this little cup and separate this off, and then I'm just going to add in some of this glitter mix that I made. This is my rich glitter mix, which is sold out, but I do have others available on my Etsy shop, so make sure you check that out. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in just 2 drops of the alcohol ink, because you don't want it to be too much, and then I'm going to mix that in very well. Make sure I get all the little bubbles out and everything, and then from there I can start adding a little bit of resin in at a time. So I'm starting around where the little earring holes are, just to make sure no bubbles form around that area, and then I'm just kind of adding the resin in gradually, dropping it in using my stir stick, and then I come in with the toothpick just to move everything around. And this is going to really help make sure that the bubbles don't get trapped in here, because with this being such a tiny mold and everything, it can be really easy for the bubbles to get trapped in those crevices. So I do want y'all to be very mindful of that and everything. But yeah, just go ahead and take your time. You're not in any rush or anything, and just because this is going to be a 1-layer pour and stuff, you don't have to worry too much about any flash curing, as long as you don't let your resin sit too long before you start coloring and pouring. So you see me just like kind of push around into those etchings as well into the stud portion, and I'm just going to make sure I don't overfill the cavities, because the cavities are very tiny. It can make cleanup a really difficult, and I don't want that for me or for you guys. So just drop it in a little bit as you need it, and you probably won't even really need the whole 5 milliliters, if we're being completely honest. Now after I finish getting this filled, I am going to let this cure for 48 hours, because they're really tiny. I don't want any bending, and this is just going to make sure they're nice and hard. So go ahead and let that cure after you spray your alcohol. Once everything is nice and cured, you're going to go ahead and carefully wiggle this from the mold. So I start by bending the mold, not the actual resin piece, and then the resin piece edges like kind of pop up, and I can grab it and just kind of safely pull it out, which is kind of what you see me doing here. I'm just placing them face up. So this is pretty much what they look like when you first take them out the mold and everything. So what we're going to do next is we're actually going to go ahead and add on the backs to the stud pieces, so that way they're actually studs. Now these pieces are about 1/2 inch long, so you are able to see them, and they do have the etchings in them. I did not paint the etchings for this, just because none of the colors that I was thinking about really worked for what I was doing, so I just kind of left it as is. But I'm just adding a drop of resin to the back and everything, and then after I get the drop of resin, I'm going to use the tweezers here. I'm just going to place the post on top, and I'm allowing the resin to kind of overflow onto the sides of the stud post just a tad, because that's going to help further secure it and really just like kind of lock it in, so that way you don't have to worry about it flying off or anything like that. Go ahead, make sure everything's completely centered and how you want it. Make sure there's nothing overflowing onto the sides and making a mess, and you're just going to allow this some time to cure as well. All right, so once everything is nice and secured, what we're going to do is we're going to attach these little hooks onto our earring dangles. So just go ahead and take your jump ring, open that jump ring on up. I like to place on the actual earring piece first once I get it open, and then after that I place the hook on afterwards, and then just kind of doing it like that helps me remember the pattern to do it in, so my earrings don't come out looking all wonky and everything's on the same side. So pro tip, make sure you do the same, so that way, you know, it just kind of helps remember, unless your memory is better than mine. But yeah, so just go ahead and get those pieces added on and everything. Get those those jump rings back closed, and then ta-da! This right here is our final project. This is the dangle earring here. I'm going to come in for a little close-up view. I really love how this glitter looks in the sunlight. I didn't use any mica powders in these, as you guys remember, and this color is really nice and opaque. You cannot see my fingers from the other side. However, your girl is really hydrated, so my fingerprints are all over this. But even with my fingerprints all over it, you still see it over here bling blinging. Like, yes. All right, so this right here is going to be the stud. This is the back. You can see how it's nice and secure, nice and flat, and when you turn it over onto the other side, you do not see the stud post at all, so it's really just the little dollar sign. You can still see the etchings very clearly. I love how the studs turned out as well. So fetch, and it's a great way to manifest some money, sis. So make sure you're getting your money manifestations on and just building that energy up as you're wearing these. I'm really happy to be able to bring you guys this mold and this project. I feel like it's going to be really great for anyone who's trying to, you know, save some resin and not waste any resin. You know, I'm all about that. If you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I enjoyed making it, make sure you leave a like, comment, and I love hearing from you guys. Thank you, hippies. I'll catch you next time. Mwah. Bye now.